Fabulous. All right. Well, that brings us through to the main billing of tonight's session. And this is where I get to introduce someone to you who I met for the first time last week, and that's Paul Finn. So Paul came recommended to me by Annie, who's been on the show almost since the beginning, I think, participating in this. So Paul there has got a very interesting background. I'm not actually going to share that with you. I'm going to let Paul share that with you, but it was a great conversation we had about where he's come from in his marketing journey. He may or may not be related to the boys that play in the band Split Ends. I'll leave that one just hanging there sort of at the moment. But he has got he's got a lot of experience in corporate with marketing. Don't hold that against him because that's where he sort of really cut his teeth in this area here, and some fairly wild days as well too. But what he brings tonight is really accumulation of what he's discovered in there in his personal journey through branding, and he's brought that out in a way that is really helpful for a small business. Now, probably sounding really cryptic, the reason why I am is that Paul's got a great story. I want him to share it. So let's put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Paul Finn.
Thanks for the silent applause. I love it. Yeah, awesome to be here. Thanks for having me, Nick, and thanks for everyone for giving me an opportunity to speak. Annie, thanks for the recommendation. This is really awesome to be in front of some people like this. So, the thing is, we ran into some tech troubles before, so I've actually got a presentation that I would be sharing screen and writing on the screen and everything like that. So please bear with me while we adjust to do this workshop without any of the tech. So we're back to pen and paper, guys. So take out your pen and paper and let's get ready to really workshop your marketing. Now, some of the history for me that Nick was touching on. So the wild component that he was talking about is a history in rock and roll, which is where I really cut my teeth. This is where I really learned how to do marketing. And so I was mentored by a guy called Carl Gardner, who headed up Mushroom Marketing. His business partner was Michael Gudinski. Michael Gudinski gave us all of the great rock and roll acts of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So you're talking Kylie Minogue, Jimmy Barnes, and a long list of pretty much all the iconic rock and roll bands that have come out over the last 40, 50 years. Michael Gudinski has been there. So these guys really took me, Skyhooks. These guys really took me under their wing and taught me how to think about marketing, not how to do marketing, how to think about it. And they really challenged everything for me and got me thinking about a lot of stuff. Now, at that point, I was controlling print media. So I was running a music magazine, interviewing rock stars, writing articles, promoting all of the live music and art galleries and anything to do with music and arts in North Queensland across 3 cities. We, developed an independent publication and built that up and did some really incredible things. And so this chapter of my life, this is where I really learned the most important step of marketing, which is how to get in front of people. So if you can't get in front of your person, they're not going to buy. It doesn't matter how good your product is. It doesn't matter how good your offer is. It doesn't matter how good anything is. If you can't get in front of the right person, everything else is going to fail. And so the first big lesson that I've got for you is, and my first big question for you is, what are you going to do to get in front of your customer? And we'll break all of this down. We've got lots of ideas here. But, back in the day, I did poster runs. So I put posters on power poles. I did flyers. I did radio. I did TV, magazine, Facebook, you name it. MySpace in the early days of that. Like all of it. If there was an opportunity for me to do something, you can bet whatever amount of money you want to bet that I was doing it 100%. Because in my mind, there's no limit to how many people you can reach. the more the better. And so that's the big lesson, is how to get in front. Now, after that, I got into, as much fun as live music is, and it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. As much fun as it is, it's also a very hard gig to make money. And so after that, after doing that for 7 years, I just thought, there's other industries and other places that I can go to and make money without having to work until 4 a.m. And all of that sort of stuff that comes with the territory of running a rock show. So I went into consulting for small business and government. And so I worked with the Townsville City Council, the Hinchinbrook Shire Council, and also this business called Garage World Townsville. And I took all the lessons that I learned in rock and roll and I applied it to these organizations, which is very, very different. Now, the big lesson that came out of this, so I had to convince people to travel to a location or move to a location or to buy a shed, these are all very big decisions. Even the holiday is a big decision. And so the big thing is, you've got to have a mechanism and you've got to have a strategy for getting a decision. So the second biggest insight that you've got is, what are you going to do to get a decision? So if you're in front of someone, all good. Now you got in front of them, that's great. Now what are you going to do, say, or give that's going to make them say yes to want to work with you or buy from you? Right? So the first part is get in front. The second part is get a decision. So I did that, and we had amazing success with those campaigns. I won't go into the detail. I've got all of that on the screen that I can't access. It'll be too lofty if I start talking about it. But we achieved some really incredible things, really, really amazing results for Townsville City Council, absolutely mind-blowing for Hinchinbrook Shire Council, and amazing results for Garage World Townsville. And it was on the back of that that I really started to form the company Staunch Digital that I've got now. And so after that, I started working with lots of small businesses and different businesses. And I wound up working for Tasmanian Walking Company, which is owned by Brett Godfrey. So Brett Godfrey is the original founder of Virgin Blue. He created that with Richard Branson. And his executive manager was a guy called Neil Lynch, who ran Qantas. So my two bosses were the bosses of Virgin and Qantas. So these are industrial, commercial guys, right? Like they are hardcore. Hardcore. And you have only one option with these guys, which is you've got to make content that is going to lift the brand and make money. So they're the two things. So if it's not adding to the brand in a positive way and it's not making money, then I'm not doing my job. And so I worked with them for 3 years. I learned a lot from them. But the big thing that I really took away from them and a couple of the other businesses that I worked at during that time, and it's this: you need a mechanism that's going to get people to spend more money. So the first step is get in front. The second step is get a decision. And the third step is get more money. And what I'm talking about there is an upsell or an option to come back again or whatever it happens to be. But you need a specific strategy put in place that's going to get people to spend more money, to entice them back, or to get them to buy something bigger or something like that. And we'll go through a bunch of these different strategies. Now, just before we get to the 10-minute strategy, there's something really important that we've got to get right. Now, whenever you do marketing or any form of communication, the number one thing that's going to make the biggest difference is clarity. So your ability to communicate your message with clarity. Now, the moment you confuse, you lose, right? If you confuse someone, if you go to the market and you say, all of this stuff and they don't understand, they will not buy. It doesn't matter how good your deal is. It does not matter at all. If they are confused, if they read your thing or listen to your thing and they are confused, they will not buy. So your best friend in marketing, always, it's clarity. Clarity, 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 clarity. Now, the annoying thing about that is you think you're clear, right? You think it makes sense from your point of view, but you've got to get into the head of your customer who has no idea who you are or what you do or why it's valuable, or that you're gonna, be up late thinking about their problem and solving it. They don't know any of that stuff. They know nothing, absolute nothing. And you've got to come from that point of view. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a framework that I use if I'm at a networking event or something like that, or even just explaining a header on a website, or a quick line that you want to put on a flyer, something that explains what you do. So there's 3 questions that you need to answer. What do you do? Why do people love it? How do people buy it? All right, so I've just dropped 3 questions into the chat box so that you've got that. Now, there's no, you don't just take these 3 questions, answer it once, and then your job is done. You keep coming back to these 3 questions and you keep refining the response. So I've been doing this for 20 years. I am still working these 3 questions. It never stops. There's always an ability to be more clear, to be more straightforward, to make more sense. As you get more perspective from your customers, you might adjust it. So the question becomes, or the questions become, what do you do? Why do people love it? And how do they buy it? So for me, I'm a marketing consultant. I simplify the complexity of marketing so that you can put more money in the bank. If you want to work with me, all you've got to do is book in and create a plan with me, and we can go about and do that. That's it. That's as hard as it is. You book in a time with me and that's it. So just by saying that, I've communicated what I do. I've communicated the value of what I do, which is I simplify everything so that you can go and take action. And then if you want to work with me, all you've got to do is just book in. That's it. Right? So you guys need a way, whatever event that you go to. Now, at the start of this session, Nick asked, who wants to introduce yourselves and all of that sort of stuff. This framework is what you should be using to answer that question. So you would put your hand up and you would basically answer those 3 questions. Don't don't do it like first sentence, answering the first question and then answering the second question and then answering. Don't sound like a robot, right? Don't sound like that. Make sure you sound like a human. But essentially, when you say your line, you should be answering those 3 questions because it gives clarity, it gives value, and it gives direction. So that's the first part. Now, does anyone want to have just a quick go? Just dropping it into the chat will be the fastest way. So does anyone want to have a go at just dropping that in just before we move on to the crux of all of this? Let's see what we got. Oh, I reckon we're overthinking it already, guys. It's a race to see who's going to be first. For those who just joined us, there's 3 questions in the chat that we're answering. So this is just a framework to be able to communicate with clarity what you do, why people love it, and how they buy it. So we're communicating the clarity of what you do, the value of what you do, and then we're providing direction for anyone who wants to be able to work with you or buy from you. And all we're doing is we're just chatting, putting that into the chat. So it's a race to the finish line to see who's going to be first. There's a few people typing away, which is good, but lots of typers. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them go. You can hear the typing. Great. Con, great. Perfect. The only challenge that I've got for you, Con, is I create powerful profiles to support. I would just challenge that little bit there, that powerful profiles might be a bit hard for people to understand. If that's social media profiles, or if you mean personal brand or something like that. So just a little bit more explanation around that. I help people create powerful social media profiles to support blah, 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 whatever it happens to be. Just be really, really specific. We need absolute LinkedIn profiles. There we go. Beautiful. There's your line. So that should be, and that should come up really early in the conversation as well. I help business coaches generate B2B referred leads and turn their lead gen into monthly recurring revenue. Great. I'm intrigued, Derek. What I like about that is that it asks me, how does someone generate wealth for me if they don't buy? So there's intrigue in that, which is good. I connect parents with their animals through telepathic communication. People love getting clarity and peace of mind, getting their questions answered. Book a Zoom chat with me to deepen. Oh, great. Perfect, Annie. It's like you're a professional. I help you to gather life memories together for family stories to be put together in story or memoir. Book a planning session with me. Roz, I would have another dig at that. So I help you gather life memories together for family stories. Is that Roz, just in the chat, just have another go. Is that you're helping people create a book? Is that, do they get something that they hold? Is it something that goes on their fridge? Is it something that goes, just something so I've got a bit more tangible something. Have another go, and then I'll come back to that one. I help local businesses owners attract new customers. More customers means more cash. Book a discovery call with me. Okay, cool. Jeff Summers, I would say something like local businesses owners attract new customers through, and then give a couple of examples of how you actually do that, just so we've got more clarity. Are we doing radio? Are we doing TV? Are we doing newspaper? What are we actually talking about there? I write and illustrate children's picture books that inspire kids to be the best versions of themselves. I also offer school presentations and free lesson plans, which can be accessed via my website. Nikki, you just need one thing that says, although you've got access via my website, just be really clear about what are the specific actions that people have to take. I know that it sounds really strange to explain to someone that they've got to go to the website and click the download button to get started, but it just makes it easier for them to understand of what happens next, what happens after they can't see. So just, I would add something like, for example, one more sentence that starts with "to get started" and then fill in the blank. Ray, I market and master reselling rights digital programs, which can be sold over and over for repeat sales. Ray, I think that needs a little bit of work because I don't have the context of what you're talking about there. So have another go, Ray, and see how you go. Just really explain what it is that you do. Like, what do you actually do? Don't be vague about it. Be really crystal clear to someone who has no idea, no concept whatsoever. They've got nothing to grab, nothing to say. It's just like, I need to explain it to me as if I'm 10 years old. You know, don't talk to me like I'm stupid, but explain it to me like I'm 10, like I'm a smart 10-year-old. Aldwin, I help entrepreneurs build their profile and impact with guaranteed mass media exposure. Book a free connection and clarity call. Okay, so between Aldwin, between your I help entrepreneurs and book, just puts one sentence in there that says "this means," which something like "this means you can reach 10 times the normal amount that you would if you were advertising, for example. This means that you will get 10 times the exposure that you would using any other method. something like that, something that really crystallizes the value of what you're doing. I'm just starting as Boomer Press to bring together life stories as books. Okay. All right. So it is a book, Roz, is what they get. So they come to you, they bring all their photos and all their stories together, and then you create a book. Awesome. Okay. So what you do is you help people create a book that lasts the rest of their lives. The value is they get these special stories to pass down through their generation. And to get started, all you've got to do is book an appointment and go from there. Local business owners attract new local through using my local online presence mastery system. Okay, cool. All right, that's starting to get better. Jeff, we offer VA services handling everything from admin tasks to, yep, okay, people love us because we save them time and boost their productivity. Everyone loves that. Clients usually reach out through our website or social media to get started. Yeah, that's good. So the thing is, if you go to a networking event and you fail on this system, you're going to do way better than not using the system. So the best thing that you can do is keep coming back to these three questions. I'll just post them again so that they're back down the bottom for everyone. I use these, rinse and repeat on everything. So networking, if I'm writing the top part of a website, if I'm writing an ad or making a social media post, I keep coming back to a framework like this because this framework, it makes it clear about what it is that you do or whatever you're offering. It makes it clear what the value is because you're talking about why people love it. And it makes it clear about what they've got to do, which is the direction they've got to take in order to get it. All right. So that's your first part of your homework. That homework lasts forever. Keep working on it. You can only get better. Just keep working on it and keep getting clearer and clearer and clearer. The best person that you can test it on, although I'm happy to give you feedback, is not me. The best person that you can go and test this on is your potential customer. If you get it right, they will buy from you because you've communicated value to them straight away. If you get it wrong, they won't buy from you. And so that's really the black and white measure. So go get in front of the right person, say your line, and see if they buy yes or no. And that's all the feedback that you need. If it's no, then try something else and just keep trying something else until you get that right. Now, let's move on to the crux of the whole thing of what it is that we're doing here. Now, I'm really about simplicity. I love digital advertising. I love Facebook ads. I love video. I love, all the complexities that come with digital marketing, all the automation, all of that stuff. I absolutely love all of that. But here's the thing. A lot of those things aren't the first step. And a lot of the times, there's free things that you can do right now to go and get money and put it in the bank. You can go get sales tomorrow. There are people on this call who can literally, they already know what to do, and I'm going to put them through this framework, and tomorrow they're going to go make sales. Guaranteed. I know there's people on this call that will do it. And it doesn't matter what industry, it doesn't matter what business, it all comes back down to the same thing, those 3 steps that we went through. So what I want you to do, take out a piece of paper like this, and I want you to divide it into 3 columns. So just put 2 lines down the page, like what I've done here. And now it's a bit hard to see, but you can see there's just 2 lines that went down the page. So I've got 3 columns. Now at the top, column 1 is get in front. Column 2, get a decision. Column 3, get more money. Now, just to be clear, I'll type that in. Okay. Now, as a rule of thumb, now you can break this rule, it's okay, but we're going to, from now on, whenever we talk about implementing the marketing strategy, 70% of the effort and resources, time, money, whatever it is going to be spent on getting in front. 20% is going to be spent on getting a decision, and 10% is going to be spent on getting more money, right? And the reason is because if you're not in front of the right person, you're not going to get anywhere. It is by far the most important step. So we allocate most of our resources to that. So you should have a table that looks like this. I'm sorry, this is terrible, but this is the best that we've got. There's 3 columns across the top. It should look like that. Can everyone see that? Okay, great. We're doing it. We're doing it. Look at us. No Tech Tuesday. Okay. So all we're going to do is start with getting in front. Now, as a simple way to think about it, because there's a few levels to this, as a starting point, I want to start with easy, free, getting in front of 10 people, those kinds of activities. So in the chat box, now for some of you, this will be obvious things, but even if it feels obvious for you, just know that there's other people on the call that it might not be obvious for. So even if you already know, it's helpful for the other people if you put it in the chat box. So can you tell me things that you can do that are free, that you can get in front of 10 to 100 business owners or 10 to 100 people tomorrow? What's something that you could do? Blog. Yep, great. Blog. Webinar. Podcast. Live stream. Live video. I agree. Live is great. LinkedIn. Summits. Summits might come with a price depending on which one you go to. Networking group. Yep. Networking. Guest interview. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So just in a couple of seconds there, we've come up with 8 things that you guys can implement tomorrow. Facebook groups. We're still going. We're up to 9. What else? Show up. You'll be surprised. Hey, success isn't sexy. It's just show up. Send emails. What else have we got? DMs. Yep. Yep. Social media groups. Yep. Anything else? These are all the free and easy ones. Sponsorship of an event. Yep. I think that'll probably go into more expensive one, but that's okay. Sponsorship. Newsletters. Love it. Walk into business. Guys, let me tell you something. You want one of the most effective strategies that I can give you? Go walk into the business tomorrow. Walk into the business you want to sell and just walk in and pitch them. It's so funny. Like, it's so funny just how simple it is. Phone, yeah. Give them a call. Phone. Jeepers. There's so many. Commentary. Referrals. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We've got 17 so far. Anything else? I haven't given you guys any ideas yet. These are all yours. Isn't it funny? And this is what I was saying to Nick last week, is that most people already know what to do. They've already got the answers inside them. They just need a framework to act on. And that's what we're going through right now. So the beautiful thing is you've given me 17 things that you can do. Now, guys, in that first column, write down everything. Write down all the things that you can do to get in front of these people. Now, some of those things that you write down are not going to be applicable to you, and that's okay. And there'll be some things that you write down where you're like, I can execute that tomorrow. I can implement that tomorrow. I can send that email. I can make that phone call. I can walk into that thing. So what I want you to do is start going through and circle everything that you are going to do tomorrow. What? I actually have to do something. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have to work harder than you've ever worked before, and probably step outside your comfort zone a lot. A year and a half ago, when my company tanked, my company just went really bad, and I spoke to my mentor about it, and he said, "What's the most direct route to your customer?" Which is the insight behind all of this. And I said, probably just pick up the phone and call. And he said, then that's what you have to do. And I hated him for that. I really hated him because it meant that I had to pick up the phone and call. And that for me is a bit of my kryptonite. But here was the thing. I started doing the work and I started making the sales and I dug my company out of the hole. And now I get to live a much better life because I did it. So, there'll be things in here that you won't want to do, but the reality is if you do them, you'll have a more successful business. So the big thing that I want you to do, now there'll be other things that you can do, right? This list, it keeps going. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Because we've also got things like advertising, we've got radio, we've got TV, we've got billboards, we've got joint ventures, we've got letterbox drops, walking around the streets handing out flyers, walking into businesses handing out flyers. We've got expos or summits like that, but specific strategies of getting on stage or setting up a stall. So this list is going to keep getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. It's just going to keep going. There is literally infinite number of things that we can do. But like what I always say to Annie when we talk about all of this sort of stuff, what are you doing in the next 7 days? Like, what are you actually going to do? Because the reality is, if you're not implementing, you're not making money. So once you get a list, like what we've got here, we've got a list of all of these things here. The next step that you're going to do is you're going to circle it and say, yep, I can write that blog tomorrow and post it. I can do the live video tomorrow. I'm going to do that at 10 o'clock. I can do the Facebook group post. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the DMs to those people that I reached out to in the last month. I'm going to get in that newsletter that I've wanted to get into, for whatever the thing is. I'm going to call 3 businesses, right? So you should end up with something that looks a little bit like this, where I've started to circle a whole heap of things. This is your strategy, right? Not rocket science. It's not complicated. It's not any of those things, but they are the things that you've got to do. Right now, that list, again, if you want to add more to the list, need to get head off there. So, okay. All right, sweet. No worries, Jane. So, yeah, so keep working on your list. Now, whatever it is, just keep coming back to this thing of what can I do to get in front of my people? Now, the conversation that I had with a restaurant, some clients of mine today that have got 3 restaurants, their ads are doing really good. We're working on those. We've got a lot of work going in the digital thing. Now, their thing, the next thing that they're implementing is they're getting a young girl, 25, to walk down the streets of Broad Beach, handing out flyers, telling people about the $5 tacos on Tuesday, right? That's her job. That's one of the strategies that we're implementing. That's just flyers. And then at the same time, she's got to do flyers into the businesses. So this is an old school strategy that we're doing here. And it sounds funny, but like whatever you do, I don't care how you get in front of the right people, just get in front of the right people. And the sooner you do that and the more consistently you do that, the better. So my challenge for you tomorrow is, of the things that you circled, go implement and put money in the bank. Like, go and do it. Because the thing is, when you actually look at that list and start circling the things that you know you can do, right? You now have an obligation to go do that. And the crazy thing is, when you get in front of the right person and make an offer, it's actually hard for them to say no. It's actually hard. So the best thing that you can do, for better or worse, is go and get in front of your people tomorrow. So that would be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So some of you will be able to close a deal tomorrow and put money in the bank. It's crazy. It happened on my first phone call. I closed a deal. I couldn't believe it. They said yes, and I was like, really? Wow, I thought you were gonna hang up on me. But here we are. So you'll be surprised. Some of you will be able to put money in the bank by tomorrow. But if you go hard on this, if you really go after this, if you put the effort in, you'll put money in the bank by the end of the week if you go and do this. All right. So the second part of this, the second column, is how to get a decision. Now, I'll give you the crux of how to get a decision from someone. It's to have a really good offer, right? Offer is the first thing you write down. So at the top of my list, in the middle column of how to get a decision, is offer, right? Have a good offer. So offer is whatever you can say or give them that makes it hard for them to say no, right? So think about some offers that you've heard out there. For example, no money down, right? That's an example of an offer. Get started today with no money down. That's a way for you to get started. That's to make it as easy as possible for you to get started. It could be first month gets a free bonus, whatever. It could be when you sign up for this, you get this bonus gift. So these are examples of an offer. Now, I'm a big believer that one of the best ways that you can get a decision from someone is handing them something. So I like to, I like to go back to the networking event example of this because it's the easiest one to grab. You're standing in front of someone, and for better or worse, we know that that person is your potential customer. We know that for whatever reason, in this example, we know that. What are you going to say, do, or give that's going to make them say yes to working with you? That's the crux of this question of what we're talking about here. Now, an offer, the simplest offer that you can give someone is just your package or your service with a price on it. That's the basics of an offer. Now, I recommend talking about pricing and talking about that sort of stuff as quickly as possible in the conversation. Not everyone agrees with that, and that's okay. It's not a set in stone thing or anything like that. But I just like to let people know very, very quickly if they're a potential customer and potentially interested in working with me. I have that conversation. I bring that up as quickly as possible. That I do, these types of things, and this is how much I charge. So what are the types of things? So let's think about, you're standing at a networking event, is one example. What can you do to help people make a decision, to say yes to you? Link to my free ebook. Yep. You could have you could hand them a flyer that's got some extra information on it with a QR code that if they scan, they can download the free ebook. So then they've got something that you've handed to them that they put in their pocket, so that when they get home, they've got to take out a flyer and there'll be another reminder of that conversation that they had with you. You can also do the same strategy, but with a business card as well. So business card and flyers are essentially the exact same thing. It's just one is bigger than the other. That's it. At least that's how I see the difference between them. What else can you do? How else can you get someone to say yes to you? Oh, it's stumping some people here. This is good. Sounds like this is exactly where we need to be. Great. So ask a question. Easily. Step-by-step guide to signing up easily. Roz, can you just re-explain that so I've got a better understanding of what you mean? Is it that they can sign up to something? Roz, it might be good. Like I think people might be able like to be able to see examples of other books and stuff that have happened before. So I think a really good one would be a mini course as a starter towards memoir writing. Yep, another one can be download our ideas book, which is just, you know, examples of what other people have done and written and images that they've chosen and stuff like that, just to keep planting that seed for people. So it's free. They can download these, you know, the I don't know, like a guide or something like that, or an ideas, like 50 ideas to put in your memoir book, for example. Uh, ask the prospect what their pain point during your discussion. Yep, so you can do a bit of a deep dive into that. So in this, you're doing the doctor version of selling, which is to just investigate a little more about what it is so that you can apply a better solution to them. So you might have three really good pointy questions that you can ask someone. I you know, you don't want to ask them to death, but have three really, really good conversations and three questions. And if it was me, I would deliberately cut that. So I wouldn't want to have a conversation with that person that goes on forever. I would have that conversation, pique their interest, chop the conversation there and say, I would love to deep dive with this further with you. Just book in with me and let's have an appointment and we can go from there and then keep working in the room. Examples are a good one. Thanks. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Is there any other stuff that you can do to help get a decision? Stumpy, stumpy. The big thing is, you know, the three questions that I gave you at the start, what do you do? Why do people love it? And how do they buy it? It's really, yep, talk about outcomes is good. Talk about results, talk about stats is a big one. You can talk about before and after with some of the clients, which is a really, really good, easy way to tell a story, show them testimonials. Yep. Websites is a really good way to help get a decision. So having a really good website definitely helps with getting a decision. Just FYI for everyone, you don't have to have a website just to make marketing a little bit more complicated for everyone. But yeah, it's better to have a website because as a tool, if it's used properly, it will help people make a decision. Permission, yep. To deep dive into where they're going, what they want to do. So guys, this part here, so don't spend as much time as you would getting in front of people. Most of your effort and your thoughts should be, how can I get in front of 10 people? How can I get in front of 100 people? How can I get in front of 1,000 people? How can I get in front of 10,000 people? How can I get in front of 100,000 people? Right? That's the question you should be asking yourself every day. Now, the answer to that will be different for every one of you based on your business, skill sets, knowledge, all sorts of different stuff. There's no wrong or right answer as long as you're getting in front of the right person. The second thing that you've got to do is get a decision. So here we start talking about what's the information that you can give them, which is the examples that you're given there. testimonials, stories, outcomes, deep diving, asking questions, handing a flyer with a QR code that people can download more information or start to see visuals of how it could look and all of these sorts of things. So go through that list, and the same thing, make a list of all the things that you can do that's going to help people make a decision, and then circle the ones that you can implement straight away, which is going to be the theme of everything that I talk about. It's what you can do straight away. Now, the last one, which is get more money, the third step, the third and final step. Really, all we're doing here is upsell. That's your straight up, that's what it is. So all we want is, once someone buys a product, whatever product it is that you've got, it's just really good to have a secondary product, something else that you can offer them. Now, if you're starting out and you've only got one product, that's okay. That's just where you are. But something to think about is, okay, so someone comes in on product A. I'm going to try to sell them product B or product C. Now, all we're doing is, for example, if I walk into a retail shop and I'm buying a shirt, they might ask me, do you want jeans to go with that? Do you want a belt to go with that? You know, do you want a hat? All of that sort of stuff. So we're looking at complementary products is a way to do that. Another one is a retainer, which means people pay regularly every month, is another strategy for getting people to pay more money. If you don't have a retainer, for example, the restaurant that I worked at, the meeting we had today is all about what is the conversation that the staff have when people leave the restaurant. So they've just had a really good time. What's the specific strategy to bring them back in? What are we doing? And the strategy we came up with today is a business card with the critical details on one side, and on the other side, there's 3 offers that you can claim. And all they've got to do is bring the business card back, and we punch a hole in the offer of whichever one they want. And that's our strategy to bring them back. Now, we might change that in a few weeks, but that's the specific strategy there to deal with getting people to spend more money. Specifically, what we're doing there is getting them to come back. Now, with my business, it's a retainer model. And so all I really need to do is start looking at complementary services that I can offer, whether that's project-based or retainer-based. One of the businesses that I work with, he's a truck detailer, so he cleans trucks. And so we've started to create a VIP package, you know, which is basically you either come in once a month or once a fortnight. You bring your truck in and you get a special discount for that. But by doing that, we've got this truck coming in every month. And, you know, if we've got 10 of those or 20 of those or 30 of them that are doing that, even if we're giving a discount, we've got cash flow coming in more than we need to worry about, which is the main thing of what we need to do. So all of those examples that I've given you, they're very, very different businesses. They're very, very, very different businesses, but they all follow the same process, which is, what are we doing to get more money right at the pointy end of all of that? What's the actual strategy to get more money? And so if you think about these 3 strategies together, these 3 pillars of this strategy, the first step, what are you going to do to get in front of your audience? What are you going to do? And I'm not talking about what can you do or what should you do. I'm asking you, what are you going to do tomorrow, 9 a.m., the alarm goes off, your day has started. What are you doing to get in front of people? Now, I'm not going to hold you accountable to that. You are. This is up to you. Your business is going to thrive or dive on this, right? What are you doing 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to get in front of your potential person? That might be a phone call, it might be an email, it might be a DM, it might be a walk into the business, it might be a networking event, it might be a summit, it might be a live, whatever it is. Now, it's somewhere in there, you need to embed an offer. You need to make an offer to the person that you're talking to. And then the last step is, what's your mechanism or strategy to get someone to spend more money? So they've become a client. What are you doing to get them to spend more money? Now, this conversation, like for example, Annie, who's on the call tonight, who's a client of mine, this is the conversation that we have every single week. Every single week. What are you doing to get in front? And then we go through all the different strategies that underpin all of that. So for example, Annie's going off to an expo. And so then I'll ask Annie, great, right? Like that's the right expo to get in front of. So someone walks up to your stall. What are you going to say? And so then we workshop the script that she's going to say and the offer that she's going to make. And that's how we're doing it. That's exactly how we do it. And it's the same conversation all the time. Now, some of you might need accountability. You might need some support from someone like you. But the reality is this: you now have everything that you need to go and put money in the bank tomorrow, right? And your job is to prove me right. I don't get any benefit out of that. Only you do. The money will be in your bank account, right? But here's the thing. A lot of people sit there and talk about they don't know what to do. Nothing works, all of this sort of stuff. I'm telling you, this works. Go fail on this system. Go make a list of everything that you can do to get in front of more people. Go make a list of everything that you can do to get a decision, and go make a list of everything that you can do to get more money, and start failing on all of those things. And what I mean by failing is lose that inability, that inner critic that's like, oh, this won't work, or this is that, or this is blah, 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 or whatever it happens to be. Get rid of all of that and go and fail. Go and get in front of 100 people and fail. And you'll be surprised, you'll probably make a sale. And you'll be like, what? I totally blew that away. I totally stuffed that whole thing up, and people still bought. But that's the nature of it. If you get in front of the right people and you make an offer and you have a mechanism that allows them to spend more money with you, you will start to make more money than you've ever made before. 100%. 100%. I've seen it over and over again. So guys, that is my no tech workshop. 10-minute strategy of how to do all of this. So yeah, so that's it. So if there's any questions or anything else, we sell big ticket items. What can... Gordon, it's a very loaded question. Yeah, there's lots that you can do. Without context, it's a very loaded question. My challenge is developing and refining my offer. Any tips on this? Yes. Go and get in front of 100 people and try 100 different offers, and then pick the best one. Derek, I did pen and paper pitch this afternoon. Great. I'm not sure what that means, but that's great. I love that. I'm really, really into no tech, no frills, no nothing. Go straight to the person, beeline. What is the most direct route to your customer? Go get in front of them, go talk to them, go tell them what you're doing, put a price on it, ask them if they want to get started. And if they do, have an upsell. And that's like, out of everything that I've done, all the different strategies that I've done in the past, all the, the big $100,000 campaigns and all the big stuff that I've done, I haven't found anything more effective than just getting in front of your person, whether that's pick up the phone, send the email, walk in, whatever it is. Go super simple, back to basics. And that's the start of fueling everything else. Once you've got that in place, then it makes sense to get into advertising and to start spending money on all the other things. I hope that helps. Although I understand that it also might be still a little bit overwhelming for some people. So I just wanted to open that up to Q&A. I don't know how much time we've got, Nick, so I'll leave that up to you. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone's got any questions.
Yeah, probably got a couple of minutes for Q&A. So hands up with the hands up icon is probably the easiest way. Or open your mic.
Any hands up? I'm not seeing hands up. Everyone's hesitating.
Absolutely blown away. That's the simplicity of it also means that everyone's going to go out and do it straight away.
I've got one, just a quick one. You talked about the resource allocation, 70%, 20%, 10%, and I can see why, but should there be a bit more of a balance between the get in front and get a decision? Because you're saying 20% of the effort is in getting a decision. Should there be more effort put into that? Just more supposedly, how did you come up with that allocation? Is that based on experience, based on testing?
It's not a set in stone figure. It's just to illustrate that most of your effort should go into getting in front of people.
Okay.
And the reason for that is if you get in front of someone, if you get in front of the right person and your offer is not very strong, and your upsell game is not very strong, if you're in front of the right person and you're providing the right solution, it's hard for them to say no. So most of the sale happens simply by getting in front of the right person.
Yep. Thanks, mate. I got it.
So the 70, 20, 10 is, it doesn't matter. Like you can put whatever figure you want. You could go 50, 25, 25.
Yeah. So the first step is to get in front of someone. That's the biggest challenge we all have. Once you're there, if your offer is reasonable, the rest should be not smooth sailing, but a bit more easier to progress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Thanks,
Yeah.
Paul.
Con, I'm interested to see how much money you make this week.
I hate the phone, Paul. I hate the phone.
Me too, man. Anyone else? Any other questions? I think I saw a hand for a sec.
Was that you, Ros?
Yeah, it was. It really does come through that because I am only just starting on the idea. I've been on it for months, but still trying to pull it together as far as Burma Press and doing books from people's memories, you know, and it came from the idea of some of the lost stories that were my parents. Both have gone now, and it's almost, it's too late. When it's too late, you don't have them around to do that. And I'm wanting to tap into, get it done. Like, you know, it's never too late to start doing something about keeping those memories going of the stories from family and that sort of thing. So I'm still trying to get really clear on how to do that as marketing or whatever. So it really comes through in my mind. You've got to be really clear on what you're doing, what you're offering, and all of that, doesn't it?
Because people don't know.
No.
And how can they possibly know?
Unless we tell them, but we've
right.
got to be very clear ourselves, don't we? So.
And the big problem is, from our point of view, what I'm saying makes sense. But the person who's receiving it isn't seeing it from my point of view. They're seeing it from their point of view. So my job as the communicator is to understand their point of view and speak from their point of view.
Yeah. So
and that's why I was challenging you, because I was like, is it a book? Is it a fridge magnet? And what is it? I think one of the lines that you can play with, it's never too late until it's too late.
Yeah. Exactly. Bring that sense of urgency in, because if you leave it too long, it is going to be too late.
It'll be gone. Yeah.
And for our own stories, even to put forward. I mean, not that everybody's got a memoir in them, because I am finding out there's a difference between your memories and memoir. So I'm learning as I'm going, as I'm writing, as I'm learning to be an author, all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah.
The best thing that I'd say, Ros, similar to Con, go out to the market. And I mean, I'm saying 100 people. That number doesn't matter. It's just a big number of people. Go talk about what you're doing to as many people as you can, because the process of you doing so will refine your message.
Yeah.
You will get instant feedback from people. They will like it. They won't get it. They, like they'll ask you questions like, I don't need a fridge magnet. And you're like, no, it's not a fridge magnet, it's a book. And all these other dumb things that people will say. And you'll start to get a really good understanding that if I say this, it confuses people. And if I say this, they get it. And it will naturally refine it. Now, the thing is, you can pay tens of $1,000s to get a copywriter to work all of this out for you, or you can go to a networking event and you can talk to people about what you're doing and work it out for yourself.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because as long as they understand
Yeah.
and they're the right person, they'll buy.
Yeah. And the thing is, our community population is aging. So there's plenty of fodder for those that are really wanting to put down what they want as a legacy for their future generations, pretty much. Well, that's what I want to do for mine. So
Baby boomer generation is one of the biggest opportunities at the moment.
and it's just because I want to preserve my stories, because I've got one for myself that something I built with my husband at the time is now no longer existent. And unless it's written down, it's going to go out of anyone's memory in the local town, So, yeah. Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. So my best advice, same for Con, go and talk to as many people as possible, especially where you're at right now, right at the start. Don't spend money on anything. The best thing that you can do is go and talk to people and refine your message. Get better understanding of which words land and which words confuse.
Yeah. Thank you.
Fabulous. Excellent. Well, I think that's all we've got time for, sadly. So what a excellent session. I learned heaps out of that. And mate, you have challenged me to pick up the phone, which is not my favorite tool, but I have to say it has been my most successful tool in business though. So, all right, well, that's our session tonight. Let's give Paul a rousing round of silent applause to say thank you. There is a way that they do it on screen, I think sort of with Deaf Association, which is quite good. And that's where you put both hands up and do that there. So that way it's quite a visible clap. So thanks, Paul. You do have a door prize for us tonight as well too, don't you?
Yeah, so I'm going to do 2 sessions with someone. So we'll do the first session, which is like just a, get clear about what you've got to do. And then the second session is a how did you go and set you up to be ready to go. So we'll do 2 sessions at $660 worth of value for you guys. So
right.
Nick, that's up to you to spin the wheel or something.
I can see Roz just sort of nodding there. So, so let's bring up our wheel of names. We do have the special way of drawing it. Everybody's name is in the wheel of names, and you do have to be in the room to win it. So now's not the time to disappear for that toilet break. All right, let's go and spin the wheel and see who our lucky winner is. Get that virtual drum roll on your desk in front of you, and our lucky winner is Derek Morgan. Are you still with us, Derek? Let's have a look. Just let me know that you're here.
Yeah,
Fabulous. All right. So Derek's here. Excellent.
I'm appreciative. Thanks, Paul.
Well done. All right. Well, we'll connect you up tomorrow, Derek. We'll shoot an email between both of you. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. Why don't we use your referral app? And we'll connect you. So actually, those of you that have just seen Derek on here, he's going to be with us in a few weeks' time, and talking about an interesting sort of referral process there, which I've been trialing as well. So looking forward to that conversation with you as well too. All right. Well, thanks again, Paul. If you've enjoyed tonight, or you want to watch this again, it will be up on the SmashGo YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. We'll drop the link into chat. So feel free to go there, subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel and click that little bell that is beside the subscribe button, you'll see that appear. Then you'll get a notification straight away when that is uploaded to the YouTube channel. So if you know someone else that's interested in it, feel free to share it out. Or send them to the channel to come and watch the video. I think sort of tonight's session is one of those ones that, people will appreciate you sending them through there. We will be back here sort of next week as well. What have I got? I've got my sticky notes on screen to remind me what I've got to talk about. Oh, yes. So if you do know a speaker, so again, we thank Annie for introducing us to Paul. If you know someone else that might be a good presenter or speaker here, do let me know or make an introduction to me. Yeah, if they fit the bill, it'd be great to get them in here, and happy to give you the acknowledgement for that as well too. If you're not a member of the Facebook group, Business Owners Smashing It Online Facebook group, then go there and join that. Now you just need to click join, and then we'll accept you into that. And we are running some live events. Now, no, not everybody here is in the Gold Coast, but if you do happen to be in the Gold Coast, we do have a live event coming up on this Thursday, 6 p.m. this Thursday, and we are covering off 5 unconventional, slightly sneaky, but totally ethical ways to build your list, get leads, and get paid for it. So I'll drop the link for that into chat. Look at that. My team are telling me to remember to mention that. I think the link might be in the chat as well too. Certainly is now. All right, we'll be back here next week. Now's the time to save the chat. So all of those links there for the cool online tools at the beginning, the conversation we had on the way through, and YouTube channel, where to watch this again, all in chat there. So where to save the chat is the 3 little dots on the top right hand side, or in the middle, or down the bottom, depending on what version of Zoom that you've got there. But if you save it, when you do save it, just click on the link that it gives you. It'll open up the document in your downloads folder, so you don't have to go hunting for it or wondering where it is. All right, well, that is our session for tonight. Paul's got one other thing to say.
Yeah, just quickly. So I do my masterclass at Brisbane Business Hub. I normally do them online once a month, but I've just stopped that over the last couple of months. The next one that's booked in is September, October. Now, I think it's the middle of September at the moment, but I'll probably be overseas. So I'm just working out the date with them. But if you would like to do the full masterclass with me, so we go through that same, how to write that thing, although we breeze through that. I take you through how to understand the algorithm of Facebook, how to write an ad, how to understand the metrics behind all of that, how to fix a website, how to upsell, cross-sell, all the stuff. So we deep dive into a couple of the things that we touched on here. It's essentially the same stuff, but a more expanded version of all of that. So if you would like to come and see me, I'll be at Brisbane Business Hub in September. You can go and search that now. It's called the How to Market Your Business Masterclass. So you can come to that. It's free. It's live in person, so you can meet me and talk to me in person. But yeah, it'll be that. And then otherwise, Nick, I'll let you know in the future once I do my monthly masterclasses again and where all of that's going.
Fabulous. Yeah. If you do that, then we can let people know. So awesome. Excellent. Oh, thanks again, Paul. Really appreciate that. Appreciate you coming on. And everyone else here, have a sensational evening. See you back here, same time, same place next week. Have a good night.